not sure there was a moment where everything came together and we decided to be committed. I think the history of the company and where we grew up and kind of the fact that we worked in the communities, we looked at our employees and recognized we had to operate safely, that we lived in the environment that we had our plants in and we had to be protective of that.
We live in our communities, we are the community, and we have an ingrained important part to play in how we react with our communities. So when we talk about we want safety, environmental health, performance to continue in our vision of zero, that's as much for our community because that is our employees.
We have to focus a lot of attention on how we run things, the impact that we have in our communities in order to be successful. We think it's very important that we're a part of the community and that the community sees us as a very positive contributing factor.
These are the fathers, these are the sons, the mothers and the daughters that actively participate in the communities, whether it's playing soccer, whether it's being a den mother for Boy Scouts. These are the people that are the community, and so they're really one and the same.
When you think of Dow's concept of safety first, in large part it's an ethic, it's a belief system, and anything you do, it has to be integrated into your thought process. Part of it is any management system you measure, you set expectations with leadership and bring it down through the organization. But frankly, you also have to work from the bottom up and set a certain expectation on behavior.
You always have people who are non-believers before they get into it, but when you really get in and understand that you're driving so that people don't get hurt every day, and that this is where we're really trying to get our organization, and these practices have helped us to get there, there really becomes a lot of groundswell support all through the organization to buying into the programs that we have.
We live in an extremely complex world, and it's very difficult for a lot of employees to sort priorities. And what the tone at the top is driven in our EHS performance is really say, life is fragile, it's important to Dow, and let's make sure that it is priceless in how we operate.
You can't talk about finance and then safety, you have to bring them together in a management review. So for example, at our executive level, we review safety performance in every executive meeting when we start. And then we start talking about the finance. And that really sets the tone for what we expect in the organization.
Every safety event causes a timeout. It causes the plant to reframe itself and relook at what happened and then share a learning experience other places. And so by having fewer safety incidents, you actually have better reliability, more focus on doing what you're supposed to be doing in terms of making product.
Any kind of environmental performance, if you're eliminating waste, you're becoming more efficient, that provides you a competitive capability. I think also we can attract talent because we have a value system that really people can be attracted to in terms of where we want to see the future and how we perform today.
When we talk about commitment to safety, commitment to environmental and safety performance, the words itself and the metrics really don't drive a competitive advantage in my mind. The metrics are a result. And so we got to focus not only on the metric, it tells us how far along in the journey we are, but what you have to focus on a competitive advantage is really on, do you have the right system, tools, and processes, and are the people using them?
We came to the realization that, we have principles, we have values that we want to make sure are worldwide. We really want them to be global. So we want to take the best of what we have around the world and compile them into a global operating discipline management system.
We are at the point to where if we wait for the lagging indicators to tell us we have a problem, we're going to be too late and we'll see our performance deteriorate. So we've continuously tried to focus on looking ahead, looking for those things that can tell us where the next problem is going to occur so that we can go there and work on the problem before it happens.
But when you get to life-critical kinds of standards, If you're going to have a vessel entry, that's true whether you're talking about something very small or you're talking about something very large. So I think there's an understanding of you can drive these life-critical standards no matter what the situation is.
I would say that since 1994, EH&S first, pound second, nothing above safety has almost become a mantra across the entire company and has led to the tremendous results that we've seen. Just tremendous reduction in injuries, spills, process safety incidents, emissions from our facilities.
Responsible care really changed the landscape in which we live and work because it really went beyond the fences. It really brought into account what has to happen within the fences to enable our communities and our countries to be successful.
And what it does, it allows a forum for maybe companies that don't have as many resources or don't have as much experience in certain areas. They don't have to get that on their own. They've got somewhere they can come and draw best practices from, draw standards and metrics from, and get some idea of where they should be shooting, where they can get to with their EH&S performance.
And having those key principles around responsible care is really critical for us to look at and to continue to enhance, because this is not something that just stays stagnant. But even more importantly, it's ensuring that all of the industry is working together to improve in the same way.
The expectations for us are, steadily climbing and approaching, operating at perfection. So how do we continue to, drive our performance higher and higher and higher while meeting those types of demands and keeping, not only our internal clients happy, but meeting our customer needs, keeping our communities happy and supportive of us, because we need all of those entities supportive of Dow and of our efforts there in order to be successful.
Well, when you are participating in some of the developing countries, assuring that you've done your training effectively is a critical piece. But Dow has processes for when we step into a new region, a new location, or even a new customer. So before we will sell a customer a product, we have a product stewardship process that goes through and says, are they capable of receiving the product that we're going to be sending to them? And so all of those processes are already in place for us.
If there is a significant incident that impacts communities, we are all impacted. And so we can control within our fence line. We can work very hard on our culture, and we can work very hard on our systems and behaviors. But it's what is going on outside of our fence lines and how can that impact us as an industry. And that's a real threat. And that's something that we all have to work together on to make sure that we're improving as a whole, to protect the whole.
And as you move forward in driving EH&S in a corporation, the tone at the top says that indeed this will create value for us. It's an aspiration to some degree, but at the same time, what I would tell you is it's one that every employee can grasp, because we want people to go home safely. It's just that simple.
I think today a modern company needs to think about stakeholders in the broadest sense. Yes, you've got to stay focused on customers, shareholders, but there's community, society, governments, NGOs, all have a view of how your performance exists in society, both environmental, safety, and really the products you make. And that dialogue is important to not only set a standard for what we want to do, but also gain acceptance from them that we're doing the right thing on their behalf.